Hey, hello, everyone. This is Dr. Garrett Smith, also known as the Nutrition Detective around these here YouTube parts, and we are here with Love Your Liver live stream number 224. We're doing another live chat Q&A this time because I've had lots of things going on with our upcoming improvements and changes and all the things we've been deciding on, so I didn't get around to thinking about a topic today, and I have several guests ready and lined up, and I just didn't give them enough time to prepare. So it means I didn't have enough time to prepare. So anyway, so you get more of me today. Sorry if you're if you want to see somebody else on here. I'm trying to get some other faces on here. You guys know that I've been having more people on lately. So let me make sure I have my live chat up. Okay, our first announcement before we get into the testimonials and the live chat Q&A, and we'll let some people filter in as the notification goes out. We don't have sales often. You guys know that. In the past, we haven't had sales often. So down in the info box, for those of you who are watching today and who catch this video within the next, until the 18th, I think the end of the 18th, we are having, so it hasn't started yet. It starts tomorrow on the 12th. So all the info on our sale is down in the info box. So please read it. I'm going to go over this stuff real quick here. It's a 15% off the Nutrition Detective Supplements sale. It's a pre-holiday sale, so we can get all this out of the way before everybody else is doing all their stuff. So once a year is when we've usually been doing sales once a year. So if you wanted discounts on our stuff, this is the time to get it. Okay. So the code is down. Joe put it on the screen there. And again, it's down in the info box for you watching it later. Important things to know, it's only on our supplements. We have in the VIP store, we have some other items that are from different brands of stuff that I don't make yet. It's not, the discount's not on those. Okay. The 15% off excludes the testing and consultation package. It excludes shipping. It excludes taxes. All we're not doing discounts on packages right now. Okay. So yeah, it runs from 12 a.m. and midnight MST on the 12th to midnight on the 18th. There's no combining discounts. It's not applicable to subscriptions that, supplement subscriptions that you might have. There's no extensions on it after it's over. And for those of you who are already trying to email Julie, trying to say, can I apply it to an order that I already did? No, because then we'd be applying it to an endless number of orders into the past. This is just the way it is these days with internet ordering and sales. So it's not applicable if you ordered before this sale. We're not going back and giving refunds on the difference. Okay. That's just the way it is. So, okay. So there's that. Now let's get into the testimonials. We've got 2 testimonials today. And all that info is down below. Don't email Julie asking for exceptions. She's probably not going to do it. So don't do that. Let me share my screen, Joe. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Here we go. Let's make it full screen. And we'll zoom in just a bit. Okay. So Joe put this link in the live chat if you want to see it, and we'll probably put it in the comments after we're done. So here we go. I have high copper levels. Well, so let me just remind everyone. These testimonials are typically in the Love Your Liver program. I don't put people's names or initials or any of that stuff due to medical privacy stuff. But if those of you who are in the Love Your Liver program, if you want to see the testimonial, if you want to comment on the post or maybe DM the person, if you got questions about what they're doing, that's what the Love Your Liver program's for. So you can find these. I don't put who they are though. Okay, here we go. I have high copper levels. Both blood and hair testing showed this, and now that I have learned about copper toxicity symptoms, which are essentially the same as vitamin A toxicity symptoms, I also have high vitamin A2. It all makes sense to me regarding the symptoms I have experienced in the past. So much better now. So I'm just going to intervene here, or interject, I should say. Folks, vitamin A toxicity symptoms and copper symptoms are very, very, very similar, and they often come together. Like, we see the same patterns on the testing that we do, where we see high copper either on hair or blood or both. And then we often see vitamin A that's higher than we want. And we want vitamin A to actually be at deficiency levels because we consider it a toxin. And we get people down to deficiency levels and they don't have problems. So that kind of tells you that it's not really a vitamin and you've kind of been lied to about it. Okay. But they come together. I actually believe that they are causing each other so as your liver becomes more toxic, it gets slower at detox. The slower at detox it gets, the more things it stores. Vitamin A is something it stores. Copper is something it stores. If you want to use the word accumulate, because the word store has some special meaning to you that you can't handle thinking that the idea stores toxins, then the body accumulates toxins, especially in the liver. Don't believe anybody who tells you toxins do not accumulate in the liver. They absolutely do. This has been known for over 100 years. So the people today, the influencers out there, the health influencers are lying to you. It's just the way it is. Okay. Since mitigating copper out of my diet these past 7 months, it has helped wonders. I also noticed that the connector pipes to my hot water tank are copper. So I mitigated this too and got them changed to stainless steel. Now, I didn't know about this. Folks, you may not have copper water pipes running through your house. However, almost everybody has copper water pipes going to and from their water heater. So if I'm having a plumber come out, a gentleman I met on Twitter sent me a really cool water magnetizer thing that the research on it seems amazing. So I'm going to have a plumber come out and install that. And maybe I'll have them look into replacing the copper water pipes on the water heater too. Now, people will say, well, what should I do? Do I get plastic, the PEX or whatever? Folks, you want to be filtering your water sometime before you use it. Okay? Buy a filter or be a filter. So you can RO your whole house. You can RO it at the sink, which is where I do it when I'm drinking. You can put shower filters or multiple shower filters on your shower. You want to, even if no matter what pipes you're using, you want the water filtered before it hits you, before you drink it, before you use it in cooking. Okay. So, RO was, Joe was saying RO. RO stands for reverse osmosis. Okay. Or distillation. I like the AquaTrue unit, the countertop unit, because it doesn't change the pH of the water. It doesn't make your water alkaline or acidic. It does not change the pH, which is very different than making something more alkaline or acidic. So that's what I use here. Okay. I would have never even noticed this if it wasn't for all the knowledge I am accumulating since taking this Love Your Liver program. I also love 50/50 salt. I for sure get my 1 teaspoon a day and I cook with it too. 1 teaspoon of 50/50 salt, if you make it properly, is about 1,500 to 1,600 milligrams of potassium and about the same amount of sodium. So that's why it's 50/50, right? And the potassium can really help. I have realized how deficient I have been in potassium without knowing it, as since boosting my potassium intake, my heart issues are basically gone now. No more heart palpitations and irregular heartbeat, pretty much gone too. So let's hit on that. If you haven't seen my potassium episode, my potassium live stream, you should watch it. For most people, the quickest way you can impact how you feel is potassium. Fixing your potassium intake. That doesn't mean supplementing a crap ton. It means getting your potassium intake better for you. Now, that could be bananas, that could be coconut water, that could be all sorts of things. Although most high potassium foods tend to be high vitamin A, so we don't have a huge list of foods that are both high in potassium and low in vitamin A. That's just the way it is. Copper depletes potassium. Vitamin A blocks potassium channels. Well, if we have a bunch of people out there that we help who are vitamin A toxic and copper toxic, if you get potassium, it helps to mitigate the problems, the symptoms that vitamin A and copper are causing. Hey, isn't it interesting that this person noted that vitamin A toxicity symptoms are similar? Copper toxicity symptoms are similar. Potassium helped lots of their symptoms. Copper depletes potassium. Vitamin A blocks potassium channels. Are you seeing the connection here? This is why potassium can help you feel better the quickest of anything in the program. Getting your potassium right. Notice I did not just say overdose yourself on potassium. There's a whole potassium episode you can watch. The next thing that helps the most quickly is getting your magnesium right. Also, the topical magnesium helps wonders for this too. This course just agrees with me. I really love this course, and I have so much gratitude for Garrett and Kelsey. I also love Kelsey's niacin spray. That recipe is in the program. It also does wonders for me too. When I have a sore joint, I spray it on. In a few days, the pain is gone. It also makes my skin feel good and detoxes areas of my face where I have applied skin creams with retinol and or vitamin A in the past. Just thought I would share these tidbits. Okay. So we got that. Now this is so this person sent these pictures. So this is the old copper pipes, and they got them changed to stainless steel. So I'm going to do that. Yeah. I found a great plumber. Finally, I found a great plumber to help, because we had problems from the people who lived in the house previously, and I just hadn't dealt with it. The bathtub faucet knobs were not, they had worn down the plastic and they popped off, and it was just, when the plumber came, he's like, they messed up this tub installation so bad. And so he fixed it to the point where the tub works well now. And now I'm going to be taking more baths. So it would be good to fix this. And then we're going to get that water magnetizer put on. So if you can find a good plumber, I did use Angie. I do like, they used to call it Angie's List, but I think it's just Angie, ANGI.com, where you can find people in your area. I'm just going to warn you, if you're in an area with a big population like a city, and you call Angie and you do Angie, they're just trying to, companies are trying to manipulate it in their favor. So they have call centers from India calling you. Like, you're going to have a lot of calls. You're just going to have to be blocking people. One of the first guys who got in touch with me from there, he was local. He's, private. He's not working for some big company. He was a great guy. It was him and another guy. I was like, this is perfect. Let's do this. And so I kept his cards, and I'm going to be recommending him to other people. But one thing you may want to do these days, folks, is ask business people if they are private, if they're working for a big company, or if they're private. I don't know if you've heard about the heater and the HVAC people, where the big companies are buying up all the little ones and then they're price fixing. It's bad. So try to find local people. Always try to find local people. I just had to get my cell phone fixed yesterday, and I went to a local place. The first thing I saw in it was that it was local, and that was why I went there, because I do not want the big companies as much as possible. Okay, so let's head into this one. Testimonial number 2. So if you didn't know, the zinc and niacin salve is back in the store. And I just want to say one thing, folks, if you want natural things, they're not always going to be like what you're used to with, like, let's say, a lot of the cosmetic stuff out there. So the zinc and niacin salve, we made it. Kelsey and I reformulated it. There's a little less niacin in it because it's less grainy that way. And we also changed the ratio of things in there in terms of the beeswax and the oils. So it's thick. It's solid at room temperature. Put it in your palm and just warm it up a little bit. It works fine. Okay. We made it thicker because, folks, people were using way too much of it. Gosh, we're ethical, and we don't want people using more of it than they should, because then they're just wasting it and they don't need to do that much. Gosh, imagine a supplement company making it so that you use the right amount and not just use more. We're experimenting with our tooth powder right now, and my mom got a sample of it, and I had to very, very quickly afterwards, she came to me and she goes, I'm out of it. And I'm like, wait, whoa, no, you should not be out of it. And I went and I had to teach her how to use it, because she was just using too much. It's like the whole thing with, for those of you who still use or used to use toothpaste, like, you need like a pea-sized amount, not what they show on commercials where the whole brush is covered with toothpaste. Okay. They do that just like they want you to use more laundry detergent. They want you to use more toothpaste. They want you to use more of everything, because then you buy it more. What do we talk about here? Using the right dose for you, which often is less. So we made the zinc and niacin salve a little thicker and it's got a little less niacin in it because that was kind of making it grainy. Those of you who use the older ones, the 40% strength, I think it was, or was it 30? I don't remember what our last one was, but we reduced the concentration of the zinc niacinate, not for money purposes, but because we wanted it to be less grainy and the thicker, so people aren't rubbing it like all over their entire body. It's not a sunscreen, folks. We have never said it was a sunscreen. We do not claim it's a sunscreen. If you are using it as a sunscreen, that's on you. It's a little jar. Like, I mean, it's a little jar. You know, it's like this big. It's not meant to be sunscreen. Okay. So anyway, here we go. I just wanted to post another great use of the zinc and niacin salve. The side of my hand was burned by the hot glue machine at work and started to form a blister. I treated it with Kelsey salve, and overnight the blister went away, and by day 2, the redness was almost gone and the pain was minimal. By day 3, there was no evidence of a burn. I have also been using it on my face as I started dumping toxins that caused the worst acne I've ever had. It definitely calms down my face, and I'm hoping it will prevent scarring. I'm thinking this is copper dumping because I recently increased my zinc and started using MSG. It's a good observation, and they're likely right. So, hold on one sec. Okay. Folks, using zinc can start to cause copper dumping. Yes. MSG in significant amounts could start to mobilize copper. Yes. So the zinc and niacin salve, I think I have another, hold on, let me find, I did another testimonial on the zinc salve. I thought I'd review it here. Let me find it. Oh, and for those of you who are on Twitter, the account Joe Rogan HQ posted today, and they were requesting, people to suggest those, guests on the Joe Rogan podcast. If you're on Twitter and you want to find Joe Rogan HQ and you want to find their post and you want to tell them, tag me and say they should have me on, go ahead. Let me find it. Oh, here we go. Well, I'll share this one too. Here we go. So this was somebody I know who's on the program. They've been on the program a long time. And this is what they sent me the other day. It said, crazy cool. My eyesight is slowly finally getting better. Have had a very mild myopia, like minus 0.075 since starting. Don't wear glasses ever, just contacts only when playing baseball, but they're totally starting to get more sharp all throughout the day and night. I really think it's the MSG2 that's doing it. So if you haven't seen the MSG live stream, you should watch it. I think that was the testimonial that I was looking for. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're all done with testimonials. Folks, there are some harpies out there freaking out about the MSG stuff and using all the purposely poorly designed MSG studies to try to badmouth MSG. Like when they always use rats in the bad studies, and they always give the rats MSG in water. Everyone who knows MSG research and looks at the research and goes, wow, this stuff is immensely safe. Everyone knows that you don't give animals MSG in water because that screws up the whole thing. And I swear they figured out that rats always have the worst reaction to it. And again, rats are used in place of humans, but they aren't humans. So there can be things that happen to them, especially when they give them these mega doses away from food in water that don't show up in people. Oh, and then when they give them and then inject MSG into baby rats before they have a blood-brain barrier. And then they go, oh, it caused them brain problems. They don't have a blood-brain barrier yet, and they're not supposed to be taking MSG IV. So anyway, the histrionic folks out there freaking out about MSG while we just keep seeing people get better. Wow. Weird that they're just quoting bad research and we keep seeing people get better. Which do you want to be part of? It's up to you. So let me get back. Let me pull up the chat. And folks, if you're having issues with starting MSG, there's two things that may be going on. First, you can always go smaller, like one crystal, okay? Like a crystal of it. Now, if you're still reacting to that, it may be here, because here's the reality. Despite what the people on the internet say, once there is no MSG actually in food compounds, there is no natural MSG in food. Because if MSG existed and once it's in the food in a fluid, it dissociates into glutamate and sodium. So if somebody says autolyzed yeast extract has MSG in it, no, it has sodium in it and it has glutamate in it. You understand what I'm saying? Once it's in a fluid, it doesn't go around as MSG. When it's in your body fluids, once you take it into your body and it touches your saliva, it goes into glutamate and sodium. This has been shown over and over. This is why they just refer to MSG in the research as glutamate, because they know that once it goes into the system, into a fluid, it separates. So all the histrionic moms out there saying that MSG does this and MSG does that, they're making stuff up because it's not MSG in foods. Once the MSG touches your mouth and it's in fluid, it's glutamate and sodium. Just like when sodium chloride, it's a powder outside and dry, and when it's dry, when it goes into a fluid, it turns into sodium and chloride. It splits apart, it dissociates. Okay? That's why people don't say there's table salt in food. They say in food, there's sodium. See? Okay? And in the research on MSG, when we had people who said they had horrible reactions to MSG, most of the time, like something like 97 or 98% of the time, when they gave them MSG and they didn't tell them, or when they didn't tell them, they figured out that it was like 98% of the time, it was a mental reaction, like a placebo response. Now, I'm not saying people are crazy. I'm saying people can be programmed, whether you like it or not, people can be programmed by the media and by everything they heard since when they were little kids. Okay? You can't just say, oh, no, that's not me. No, sorry. The more I hear somebody say to me, well, I can't believe placebo. I know it's not placebo. I go, suspicious that it's placebo now. The more somebody denies something could be possible, the more I think it's true, actually. So, well, Mia Pia said, I want so badly use MSG. I get so tired from it. What might be causing it? Okay. It calms down your nervous system. The people we tend to see having reactions to MSG tend to be generally on very low carb diets for a very long time. And they're eating lots and lots of meat. So they're already getting tons of glutamate. That's where we get the most glutamate from, is cooked meat. Or it tends to be very high-strung, anxious people, which could be biochemically caused. Copper toxicity, vitamin A toxicity, they tend to be high-strung. And then when they take, and it could just be that, we have some people who are like, like salt, right? Some people were raised and they're like, my parents never use salt on anything. Like, that's the way they were raised. So do you think that programmed them a little bit to be like, sodium's bad? So didn't everybody get programmed in America that MSG is like the most horrible thing ever? How do people now assume that they're immune to that? Like I'm just immune to all the programming I heard for my entire life. So MSG may make some people tired because it's calming down your nervous system. It's giving you something that your nervous system is not used to having. So again, we're talking one crystal is what you can start with. You don't have to do a pinch. You can do one crystal, and you do what's called exposure therapy, which is where if one crystal's tolerated, then you can do that repeatedly until all of a sudden you feel like, I don't know, you want to do 2 crystals, 3 crystals, and go up from there. There seems to be an intro phase where once you get past it, then you can start adding more, but you breaking through that may be very, very small doses. Okay. So, okay. Let's see. Let me get back up to Ben's. So we're going to hit the super chats first now that we're into the live chat Q&A part of the show. So Ben Muehlbauer, thank you for the super chat. He says, is there a risk of throwing off our potassium to sodium ratio when taking larger amounts of MSG? Well, I mean, without context, this is a huge question. But MSG, I believe, is 20% sodium. So it's 80% glutamate and 20% sodium. And it is suggested that people can use more MSG in place. So MSG helps improve the flavor of foods, which is why most people add salt to it, right? So if you add MSG and you're able to reduce your sodium intake, then, you know, that can help reduce your overall sodium intake. If you're using large amounts of MSG, I mean, so if you figure 20% of the study where the guys were eating, you know, I think they had 5 or 6 guys total in that study eating like close to 140 grams of MSG a day, right? So if 20% of that is sodium, 140 grams of MSG a day. I think if we figure 4 grams per teaspoon, right? That's like, what is that? 35 teaspoons. So like 12 tablespoons, literally almost 12 tablespoons of MSG a day they were taking in. They reduced their protein down to like 25 grams a day because, well, so if you figure 20% of that 140 grams was sodium, so that's 25 grams of sodium a day. 25 grams of sodium a day. And I forget if it was, I think it was about 6 weeks. And then the rest of it, 115 grams of it was glutamate, which is basically going to stand in as protein. So that's why they cut down their protein intake so much. So they got basically 140 grams of amino acid protein sources a day. Okay. Whether it's going to, I mean, it depends on what a large amount is, right? So if you're doing, let's say, if a tablespoon of MSG, which is about the limit of where we suggest pushing it to, if you did a tablespoon, that would be what, about 12 grams ish, and 20% of that is sodium. Then you're looking at, what is that, about somewhere between 2 to 3 grams of sodium. That could be your daily sodium intake if you were doing a crazy amount. I mean, not a crazy amount, but a very high amount of MSG. So yeah, I would be working on maybe not adding so much salt to your food, or maybe, you know, doing 50-50 salt to reduce the sodium intake further. But could it be an issue? Yeah. I mean, does it factor in? Yes. Yes, it does. But without knowing your daily sodium intake and whether you adjusted your sodium intake upwards or downwards since you've added the MSG, hopefully you've reduced it downwards. But yes, it can affect it. But that's going to be on an individual basis. People who are just like sprinkling some MSG on their food, probably not going to do much. But if you're taking like literal teaspoons or up to a tablespoon a day, yeah, that's going to be a significant amount of sodium. Not crazy, but enough. It does contribute. We'll say it that way. Okay. So hope that covered it. But yeah, I mean, when you start getting into high doses of anything, like people who, let's say, I'm not suggesting people do this, but the people who get into the baking soda fixes everything craze, right? And they start taking like spoons and spoons and spoons of baking soda a day. I'm not suggesting this. It doesn't magically fix everything. It never did, or else it wouldn't be a fad that comes and goes every couple of years, just like the calcium fad. But people can start getting way too much sodium from the baking soda if they're taking a lot of it. There's the whole alkalosis problem, and then there's the whole crazy amounts of sodium problem. So yeah, so sodium can become an issue. People could even get crazy amounts of sodium. Let's say they're doing high dose vitamin C and they're using sodium ascorbate as a buffered vitamin C. That could be a lot. If people are buffering their niacin and they're doing like huge doses, could they get into too much that way? Yes. So you do need to look at, folks, you always need to look at, when you take a supplement, there's often two parts to it. Sodium bicarbonate, sodium ascorbate, sodium nicotinate if you're buffering your niacin with baking soda, like sodium monosodium glutamate, which is really just sodium glutamate. Like, yes, these things can all add up. And you could create a new issue while you're fixing another issue. So you do need to be aware of these things. Okay. Okay. So Beth, hi Beth. Thank you for the super chat. Beth wanted me to ask or to answer, could I take a stab at explaining the growth on your finger mostly healed? I get toxic storage, but what's happening with the growth? Rogue cells, love and thank you. I just don't tend to think of rogue cells. I don't know. It would make sense that if the body is making something that is easily, like, let's say, broken off, that really sticks out, it means it really wants rid of that. It's like the body could choose where it puts it. It's going to put it in a place where it's easiest to grab the toxins, but also if the toxins are just floating around and it can make something external that might be, that would be like, okay, before we had surgery, what's the easiest thing to take off of a person? Something that sticks out, right? So that's just the easiest thing the easiest way for the body to get rid of it. I don't believe in the idea of rogue cells very much. That would kind of go against the idea that the body is intelligent and the body is doing the best it can, just like they say about us mentally, right? They say we all do the best we can with the tools we have at the time being. Well, I think the body does the best it can with the things it's presented with, toxicities, deficiencies, where to put it at the time that it's dealing with it. And it also puts those toxins away in places so it can, in theory, hopefully deal with it later. Let me give you an idea about, or something to think about with cancers that supposedly spontaneously go into remission. Okay, and modern medicine is just like, sometimes it just happens. We have no idea why. Huh. Okay. Let's just say, as an example, that somebody lived in a house that was full of copper pipes. And they drank out of copper cups. And they took a multivitamin that had copper in it. If you don't know, cancer loves to accumulate copper. It's all over the research. People are freaking out about saying cancer eats glutamate. No, cancer stores copper is the thing you should be much more concerned about. Glutamate is going into the tumors to help detox. That's what glutamate does. Cancer tissues have high ALDH, a detox enzyme. Glutamate helps ALDH to run. So does niacin. Weird. Cancer tissues are toxin storage that has some detox capacity. So anyway, back to this person who, let's say, gets cancer. Doctors don't know what's causing it, right? Because they don't know what causes cancer at all. You're just a victim of these rogue cells. Well, let's say this person found out they had this problem, and maybe they don't even know what they did, but by chance, let's say the influx of copper was their main driver of the cancer. And let's say they move out of that house to a house that doesn't have copper pipes, and they stop taking the multivitamin. And let's say they lose their copper cup, or in moving, the copper cup disappears. So all of a sudden, they just they didn't even know they did it. They remove all of these copper sources in their daily routine, and all of a sudden, the doctors are like, "Wow, Why is your cancer shrinking? We have no idea. Well, when we look back, if we were to look back on what this person did from our lens, we could see it. We could be like, oh my gosh, you took all these sources of toxicity out. And your body was able to catch up on detoxing things, so it did not need the cancer tissue any longer. So whenever you hear about somebody spontaneously going into cancer remission, what most likely happened was something changed in their day-to-day environment, whether it was something they took away or multiple things they took away, or something they added, which is less likely. It's more likely they did something that removed multiple toxin sources, either the one biggest one that was their problem, or it removed multiple aspects. Just like, think if they moved out of a moldy house. Let's say the cancer made them broke, because that's what modern medicine likes to do with cancer, right? And let's say they were living in a fancy moldy house and they couldn't afford it anymore. And then they moved to some other place that's much less expensive that doesn't have mold. And all of a sudden they're like, your cancer's going away. You see how this can happen? Like by accident. So yeah, Beth, in terms of mechanisms, in terms of the why, like, see, these are like mechanisms that people don't figure out. I don't know why it went away. Well, there was a reason it went away. There was a reason it formed, and there was a reason it went away. In terms of mechanisms as to why growth happened on your finger in that spot, there, could have been something preventing proper toxin drainage from that area. It could have been, I don't know, ladies like to put chemicals on their nails, and it could have been from your past. Like maybe if and when you used to use nail polish and fake nails and whatever, all those things you ladies do to your nails. I don't even keep up with it. But it could have been something from back then. Just like the testimonial was saying, this person was kind of probably pushing copper detox a little bit with zinc and the MSG, and they started to break out in places where they used to put vitamin A cream on their face, right? So see that these toxin storage stuff, it can be deep in there. So like it could be from, like back from nails stuff. Before you knew all about all this stuff. Who knows? I don't know. But really we can come up for theoretical reasons, but really we're just after fixing it, right? That's what I always want people to remember, is we're really about fixing it. The whys are nice to have, but there's a lot of people out there who get into digging too deep into the whys, and then they were on track to figure it out. And then all of a sudden they look at, so this is part of the problem with research, folks. Too many people give all the research weight. They give all of it weight. And they're just like, oh, well, this study says the opposite of this one. And you go, okay, here's the magic. They're either both right in a different way, or one of them is completely wrong. That's pretty much what we have to figure out. And people will try to say about me and others in this community, they'll say, you guys just cherry pick studies. No. We have decided that certain things are right and certain things are wrong. And our results with people are reflecting generally that we have things right. It's something's good and something's evil, right? We are doing our best to pick the good and then completely disregard the garbage. I don't understand why, the scientism of it. They're like, we have to believe all science, and we're going to believe cell studies. And these deep supposed mechanism tests. I saw it's funny. There's a guy on Twitter who's talking about how vitamins don't exist, but then yet he was saying the vitamin D receptor is important. And I'm like, which chemistry did they use to identify vitamins, and which chemistry did they use to identify the vitamin D receptor? And how are those drastically different that one exists and one doesn't? How can you extract a vitamin D receptor out of the body? And what chemical process? Because they always love, they're like, this is the chemical process where they identify the vitamins. And then you go, what chemical process did they use to identify the vitamin D receptor? And how is that massively different? And they start jumping around. They don't know what to do. So all folks, everybody out there who's like, you see, who is denying that things exist, I don't like the way they're going about it, because they're saying these things don't exist. And I'm going, they exist. They may not mean what you think they mean or what we've been told they mean, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. Why can we get the same symptoms in animals from natural sources of vitamin A, and then they extract it, and then they give the same dose of stuff to animals that we call vitamin A, and they get the same symptoms? Like, I don't know how far we need to go with this, that this whole, like, they are trying to confuse you so you don't know what to do. That is their goal. Their goal is to confuse you so you can't and won't take action. They want to splinter everybody into these little groups. And it's funny when you start seeing the people who are trying to do the splintering, and they're always anonymous. They don't have, if they're really trying to change the world, no anon is going to go far. They're just trying to put little things in your head to make you doubt everything else. Anon is, think of most anons as controlled opposition. And if you just assume that an anonymous person is a controlled opposition source, you'll be pretty well off. Okay? So, Beth, I hope that helps. Why it happened there, I have no idea. And again, we're coming up with ideas on these tumors and cysts that make sense within our framework. And then we see people having them go away. Oh, that was what I was looking for. Hold on. Let me see if I can't find the, I remembered what the search was that I wanted. The testimonial. Here it is. Okay. Joe, you can put this up on the screen. So here's the testimonial. Another one. So again, about a growth. Here we're going to talk about a growth. I put the zinc, niacin, salve, Kelsey's 40% version. That's the old version. Every night on what I thought was a mole, but when it started to change rapidly, I had a dermatologist look at it, and she identified it as a seborrheic keratosis. It was 1.5 times a pencil eraser in size, and it disappeared completely in about 6 months. So it was a pencil eraser in size, folks. Do I have any pencil erasers? Here we go. Pencil eraser in size. And it disappeared 1.5 times, so bigger than this. And it disappeared completely in about 6 months. I wish I had a before picture. There's only a hint of a shadow now where it was. Here, I'll put this link in the comments here in the live chat. There it is. Did it fit? Yeah. Oh, that's just, I put the link. So anyway, there's that. Okay. So the zinc, niacin, salve, Kelsey's not watching right now, but she's so amazing and so helpful, and she brought so much to the program. So I miss her. I'm trying to fix that. We'll fix that someday. But yeah, I'm working on something cool right now in the background. We're testing it out. Kelsey's testing it out. We have a couple other people testing it out. It seems to be very powerful. So no, I'm not going to tell you. No, don't ask anywhere else. But we have other things that we're working on too that seem to be like lost in the research, and then we find them, and then we start testing them, and then they do amazing things. And the research on them, you start as when I was talking to Julie about this new thing, and I said, Julie, I'm working on this new thing, and I was telling her about it, and she goes, why doesn't anybody know about this? And I said, why doesn't anybody seem to know about lactoferrin? Like, it's that another one of these things, flush niacin, like. And then you go and you look into the research, and the research is amazing. And we all go, why haven't we heard of this before? Why aren't the influencers out there selling this stuff? Why aren't they pushing it? Who runs the influencers? So, oh, you're welcome, Beth. Okay. Oh, okay. Beth asked another question, and I'm going to hit on this. She asked, why did the, I call it's on salve. Now, what you are about to hear is not medical advice. What you choose to do with any of the things I mentioned is all on you. There is a company out there called salve, which is in theory related to salves of the past that were called black, or a salve that was spelled C-A-N, then S-E-M-A, C-A-N, then S-E-M-A. Now, these things have been used to help growths go away. I used it myself in the past before I was doing all this vitamin A toxicity stuff, and it worked. You want to know how toxic I was in my when I used that in the past, in my either my late 20s or early 30s, I had what was basically by all symptoms probably skin cancer on my jaw. It was lumpy, and it sent little electrical zingers. So if you want to know how toxic I was, like, yes, I was literally in my either late 20s or early 30s getting skin cancer on my jaw. Well, I got rid of it. I followed their instructions. So don't ask me questions about it. You can, if you decide to do anything with this, that's the website. I suggest you use their customer service and their assistance. And this is not something I'm going to discuss the ins and outs of on a public forum like YouTube. But anyway, it's herbs, and there's zinc chloride in it. And do I know how it works? No. Do you want to be educated in it before you use it? Yes. Read all the stuff. But does it work? On the right things? Yes, absolutely. So that's that. Let's go through more chats. I don't see any more. Oh, so Jana said, MSG seems to be doing good for me, but it has increased my hair falling out. I'm waiting on my folinic acid supplement that Kelsey recommended. Okay, so yes, Joe saw this and he wanted me to clarify. There is only one type of folate that I recommend people try or use, and that is calcium folinate. Folinate. And on the label, it will say folinic acid. We make the super liquid folate made by Designs for Health available in our VIP store. So those of you who are out there, you know, if you want to find it elsewhere, you can, but we only sell that to our LYL members. I do not use 5-MTHF. I don't like methylated B supplements. Methylated B supplements are a Merck adventure, or venture, we should say. Merck started the science of methylation. So if you're going into methylation and you're like, oh, my detox systems are broken because I have the gene, your detox systems are broken because you're toxic. Toxicity slows detox. If your genetic breakage was such a big deal in the past before Merck figured out methylation, your bloodline would have ended. Okay? Your bloodline would have ended if methylation was a thing before Merck came out with methylated B vitamins. Okay? Let's say I told you I have a study that shows glyphosate can both hypermethylate and undermethylate. Can make your body do too much methylation in certain places and make your body do too little methylation in other places. And then you go, well, which one? And you go, does it matter? I'm just showing you that toxicity is what affects your methylation. Vitamin A affects your methylation. Imagine that. I bet we could go find copper affects your methylation too. So we don't use methylated B vitamins. Calcium folinate, there's such a tiny little, you're talking about 400 micrograms of folinic acid attached to whatever tiny amount of calcium. So people will go, oh, but the calcium. I'm like, we're talking micrograms. It's not a big deal, but that's the only way they sell it. They don't sell folinic acid bound to anything else. They just sell calcium folinate. We may eventually make our own drops of just folinic acid. The super liquid folate does have a tiny bit of methyl B12 attached, but it doesn't have any extra crap like all the other. If you go and you look at folinic acids elsewhere, the Source Naturals or the what's the other guy, Dr. Ben or whatever, his stuff, tons of additional trash garbage ingredients in those. I won't use them. So I'd rather have a tiny little bit of B12 in super liquid folate where it's just water and calcium folinate and a teeny tiny bit of B12 rather than the list of additives and other garbage that's in the other folinic acid, folinate supplements. So anyway, if somebody wanted to take calcium folinate or the folinic acid from calcium folinate, the dose is, I might use 400 micrograms a day. Do I take it? No, I don't take it. But if somebody was experimenting with folinic acid, that's generally where we start. And that's what one drop is. So you buy a bottle of super liquid folate, there's some 700 drops in it. So you have 700, you have almost 2 years worth. Gosh, it might be 60 or 70 bucks for the bottle, but it's 2 years worth. Are you hearing me? So very cost effective if you're going to do it. The other thing to know about folate is beans are the highest source of folate out there, pretty much of the normal foods that people eat. So that's that. Okay, so let me look more. Kim King 747 says, any info on phosphorus my chiropractor is recommending? What we tend to see on hair tests and in the real world is that phosphorus problems are linked to zinc deficiency. Alkaline phosphatase. So notice the phosphatase in there. When alkaline phosphatase is low, the research says that can be associated with a zinc deficiency. When on a hair test, the hair phosphorus is low. How do we bring it up? We fix their zinc deficiency. If you're eating meat, you don't have a phosphorus deficiency. Okay? How do we fix phosphorus issues? We fix zinc first. A chiropractor recommending phosphorus sounds like they may be a standard process type of chiropractor, and I would run far away from their nutritional recommendations. Just remember, folks, you can go and see somebody, like you can go see a chiropractor and know that they're good at their job in terms of adjustments and that their nutritional advice is hot garbage. You can go see an acupuncturist and have them stick needles into you. I enjoy acupuncture myself. I really enjoy acupuncture. Do I take the herbs or the other nonsense that they might give me? Like some acupuncturists are trying to turn into naturopathic doctors with all the crap they're prescribing. I don't listen to any of their other suggestions, and you don't have to either. Don't pay them for that. Pay them for their therapeutic service. Generally, don't listen to their other stuff. Most people are good at one thing. If they go into chiropractic, they're probably good at adjusting. And then they just try to throw in the nutritional stuff on top of it. And most of the time, they're usually just, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to remember it. It's a French word. Oh, I want that word. Debutantes. Most of the time, they are debutantes in the other stuff like nutrition and detox. And they just do stuff that the supplement companies sell them or that they learned online from YouTube or something. So anyway, I would not be taking phosphorus. I would not be trying to drink Mexican Coke for phosphoric acid. Just eat your meat and then fix your zinc. But the meat by itself may or may not fix your zinc. I mean, we can reliably see phosphorus on a hair test go up from fixing people's zinc. And like I said, alkaline phosphatase, if it's low, we fix it, we give them some zinc and it comes up. So that's generally where we start with that. We don't add more phosphorus to the system. Okay. KG10186 says, where can you get 50/50 salt? I don't recommend buying it anywhere. 50/50 salt is actually, if you watch the MSG episode, I believe in the comments, Joe, I don't know if you pinned the 50/50 or if you posted the 50/50 salt, 50/50 super salt recipe. In the comments of the MSG live stream. If we haven't, we need to put that. But 50/50 salt is a combination of salt, sodium chloride, clean, bright white, one ingredient. That's what I consider clean salt. It has one ingredient, which could be salt or sea salt or sodium chloride. It is bright white in color. It's not gray. It's not speckled with red and blue. It's not pink. It's not any other color than white, because sodium chloride is white. So any of those other colors, there's stuff in there. Do we want that other stuff? I don't know. I'm going to bet not. When I want water, I want clean water. When I want salt, I want clean salt. I don't want water sprinkled with other minerals like uranium and arsenic, because that's what's in a lot of tap water systems. Oh, but you get your calcium from the water. I don't want calcium at the cost of taking in uranium and arsenic and rocket fuel and other crap like that. So I don't want sea salt with all sorts of other crap in it. So we want clean, bright white, single ingredient salt, not potassium iodide added, not any of the other crap. And then sodium chloride, potassium chloride, just potassium chloride powder. You can find it all sorts of places. Now makes one. We actually, I mean, Kelsey really wants me to make the 50/50 salt and sell it, but I'm figuring that out with my supplement manufacturer, because one of the things we want to do is we want it to all be the same size so it doesn't separate. So that's important. So it's an equal amount of sodium sodium chloride and potassium chloride. There's a little bit of cream of tartar added, which is potassium bitartrate. That helps adjust the flavor a little bit. The tartaric acid on the potassium helps adjust the flavor a little bit. It adds a little potassium too. And then in Kelsey's super salt recipe, she adds some MSG to it too. So it's got sodium chloride, potassium chloride. It's got MSG, sodium glutamate, and then it's got a little bit of potassium bitartrate, which is potassium bound to 2 tartaric acids. So it's a mineral supplement, and it helps in lots of other ways. So it's something we make. The recipe, like I said, is I think Joe posted the link to the MSG live stream. And Joe, I think was it under there? Was it in your comments? Or did I add it? No, you couldn't find it. Okay, so I'll go post a comment there. Joe, if you can just make a reminder for me to do that after the show, I'll go and post the MSG super salt recipe there. If it's not already, I'll put it in the comments and I'll pin it. So that's where I'll put that. Okay. So let's see. KG10186 says, I wake up and chug water and eat a banana first thing. I mean, that's not a bad approach. I found, folks, especially if you're at the point where you're giving up coffee or caffeine in the morning, I do think waking up and having a good sized glass of water is a good thing. You've been breathing out, water in your breath all night. I think a glass of water in the morning, good, clean water, room temperature. Kelsey's going to get me that paper. We're going to find it. But there was a guy, we saw a reel on Instagram of I think it was a neurologist who was saying that there was a study on mice where they gave the mice cold water. Folks, this, you know how you get brain freeze if you eat or drink cold things, right? Too fast, and it actually freezes the palate up by your brain. And then it gives you that brain freeze. And you've seen cat videos where they get the brain freeze and they're like, like they were showing that there was basically minor brain damage to these animals from drinking ice cold water. So then think about the brain freeze. When I started putting that together, when I started thinking about brain freeze and cold water and people damaging their brains, and where do they push ice water the most? Western countries. Other countries don't drink ice water. Stop drinking ice water. It's bad for your digestion and it's probably bad for your brain. Room temperature water. If it's cold outside and your room temperature water is cool, fine. Fine. Don't put ice in it. Like literally don't put ice in your water. Help your brain, help your digestion. All alternative health systems say cold stuff in your intestines is bad for your digestion. Does this make sense? What does cold things do? If you stick your hand in a bucket of cold water, ice water, does your hand move better or worse after being in there for a while? It moves worse. Your stomach is supposed to move and break up your food and move food along. So what do you think ice water is doing to the muscle function of your stomach? And if it's slowing down the muscle function, what do you think it's doing to your digestive juices cells too? It's probably slowing them down too. Your stomach, your digestion hates cold things. Your brain may not like cold water going by it and cooling down your upper palate over and over and over. So that's my rant on ice water. But I want to get that. Hold on, let me send Kelsey a message real quick. Okay, so we're gonna, maybe that'll be next week. We'll go over that paper if I can find it. If anybody knows the Instagram person, if you saw that, let me know because I want to go find it again. Yeah, but I do think, like I said, a glass of water in the morning. I do it now. I do it a regular thing. I have a glass of water. I wake up, I go out and I have a glass of water, and then I do whatever else I'm going to do. I often wait just a little bit before I eat, but I'll have something to eat if I'm going to go work out because it's something light before I go work out. But bananas are typically part of that. So, oh, Sheila McCamey 998 said, love the salve. It is magic. Bonzo and Shane said, big companies suck. They generally do. The bigger they get, the more they suck. Allie McBeal 99 says, my son has cavities. They are recommending general anesthesia or fluoride treatments. If I have them pull the teeth till his adult teeth grown in 6 years, then he will be without four front teeth. Okay. Folks, there are 3 important times in our lives when we probably need more calcium. That is pregnancy for both the mother and the child, the developing years of a child into an adult, so up till like age 18 or whenever you decide that their bones are still growing, they probably need more calcium than an adult. And then possibly in old age, after people have, if they've really depleted their calcium stores through vitamin A toxicity, through vitamin D supplements, through copper toxicity, through doing these things. Remember, osteoporosis doesn't just happen. Osteoporosis is induced. And for people who don't exercise and load their bones. Here's the idea with exercise and loading your bones, folks. Exercise is, I have to make this more important in the program. Folks, I've heard of research now where they said smokers who exercised did a lot better health and longevity wise than people who didn't smoke and didn't exercise. We need to move our bodies. What do you need to do? I don't know. You got to figure it out for whatever you'll do. But every day you're not exercising or moving your body in some way. If your health is trash right now, And I mean that in the most humble and modest way, but because we deal with people like this all the time. Whatever you can do to move your body, it moves you heal through blood. Your blood goes and heals you. Moving your body moves your blood. Your lymph system is your sewer system. Moving your body moves your lymph. If you don't move your body to use up, as I'm going to have Greg Mushen, Mushen, if you want to follow him on Twitter, he's awesome. I'm going to have him on as a guest, I think this coming week, but he has some really awesome, he just looks at a lot of things in a different angle than I do. And he's huge on beans. He's huge on potassium. He's huge on not going like super duper low carb because it'll ruin your gut biome. Like, he goes at these things in the research from a different angle than me, but he's coming to the same conclusions. Like, his potassium intake in a day is outrageous. And he does a lot of exercise, and he emphasizes, he was putting out tons of research talking about, I forget, he calls it his substrate theory, but it's basically like, think about this. We have these things floating around in our body, including glucose and all these other things. You want to turn those over. You don't want them just sitting around floating through your system over and over and over. And like Megan Stevens said a couple weeks ago, one of her things is if she's going to have something sweet, she tries to go for a walk before or after it to kind of burn it off. So I'm telling you folks, figure out something you like to do for movement. Your bones, think about this. If somebody just eats more protein, does that make their muscles get bigger and stronger? No, it doesn't. So does just eating more calcium or whatever, calcium or magnesium or whatever you want to think of, vitamin K, does that automatically build your bones stronger? So if eating more protein doesn't automatically make your muscles bigger and stronger, does shoving more minerals in your pie hole make your bones bigger and stronger? No, it does not. If you want your muscles to get stronger, and remember, muscles pull on bones. Your bones get stronger through load and the muscles pulling on them. So if you never pull on your muscles and you never load your bones, do you expect to have strong bones? And if you don't have strong bones, how can you have strong muscles? Because the muscles pull literally on the bones. You may not feel like exercising. You could look into a vibration plate. You can look into a rebounder. You can look into just walking around the inside of your house. Do something to move your body. If you can't yet, if you're bed bound, okay. I don't know, flex your muscles in the bed for a while. You can do that. That will help. Do something, and then as you get stronger and healthier, do more. Of course, they call me right now. Anyway, I'm working on what, if you want to play a video game that's like dancing, great. You want to go for a walk, great. You want to go for a hike, great. Make sure it's something you can do. You want to go to the gym, great. You're going to go on a vacation, try to do things in your vacation that are active. Like, just try to make your life more movement. That is what we are designed for. We are not designed to sit and rest all the time. We are designed to do things, like physically do things. So that's enough of my rant on that. But yeah, so something you may, I'm looking into the Revive. Somebody posted in the comments. So whoever posted this on a previous episode, the Revive mouthguard, Reviv. I ordered one. I'm testing it out. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I'm beginning to put together how I want my framework of how people can kind of, let's say, rebuild their body from being chronically ill or just messing themselves up, whether it's physically or whatever, to rebuild we're going to kind of move from the top down and the bottom up and meet in the center. And I have approaches that I've used or I'm about to experiment with to see how that all goes. Like, we got to fix your feet. Ladies, especially, you probably jacked up your feet with the shoes. Guys, you may have jacked up your feet with like giant thick basketball shoes. And like, so most of us have jacked up feet. Most of us have a jacked up jaw and mouth, whether that's because of mineral deficiencies or toxicities or orthodontics, which I had. And so we're going to fix that, kind of come down and together, and then original strength stuff for the fixing the middle of the system. I'll be writing about it more. But yeah, I've done a lot of work on my feet. And you guys have seen it over the years. I've done a lot of work on my jaw and that stuff. So I'm hoping the Revive really shows up well. And maybe you guys will be able to see it. Yes, Greg. I'm sorry, Joe. That's Greg. Yes, that is Greg Mushin. Yes. He's very excited to come on the show, by the way. So I'm so tired of Twitter. Twitter has just become Twitter has become a place where they're going to feed you stuff in your algorithm that you don't want to see. They're trying to get you to they're trying to bait you. They're rage baiting and like loosh collecting all the time. So for those of you who have already figured it out, like me, that Twitter is just like, that's because we start to realize it. They're baiting us. They're making us watch and read things that we don't want to see. They will force it in there on you. And that's not cool. And those of us who are more, independent minded, we go, and somebody else on my Twitter says, well, you can just start blocking and blocking and blocking and blocking and saying, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. And I'm like, I don't want to have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have stuff that's literally the opposite of what my feed should have on it being pushed into my feed. I shouldn't have Elon's weirdo anime corn shoved onto my feed. I don't want to see that. Oh, he's the smartest guy in the world and he's making anime corn. Dude, he was put there. If you don't think that the richest man in the world was put there and allowed to stay there, I'm sorry. Turn in any conspiracy theorist card you have. You don't deserve it. And he's not the richest man in the world. They'd never let you know who the richest man in the world is. They would never put that guy to be known. They have a face man. Elon's the face man. And no, he's not going to save the world. Seriously. LeBrad Pass said, my 7-month-old daughter currently has croup. Anyone have any suggestions? Well, you could look into things I might do. We did the good old warm showers, the steam from the showers. If you can get a nebulizer, you can nebulize things. You can get kid nebulizers where it's a mask and not just the thing that fits in the mouth. I might use around my house some. I think I'm going to have to edit this episode. Dang it. I can't talk about this stuff. I'll have to see what I need to take out. But anyway, I nebulized it multiple times a day. I drank it to the point of nearly a quart a day. And cough was gone in 2 days. Fatigue was gone in 2 weeks. Just what I've heard other people say is that veterinarians will put dogs who get this on antifungals for the rest of their life. And my ex-wife's childhood gymnastics coach died of it. And people get put on antifungals for years with this stuff. And I got rid of it in 2 days and 2 weeks with that mineral, that metal, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, now I gotta edit it. Dang it. So this video, folks, the unedited one will be on Rumble. So if you're seeing this part now afterwards and you're going, what's he talking about? Because there's words missing. Go to the Rumble version. Joe just put up the Rumble thing, and this will be on this channel. It will be in the videos section, not the live section, because I have to take this down right away as soon as it's processed and edit it so it doesn't get the axe. So yeah. Yes, I have learned my lessons here on this platform. So anyway, but yeah, that's a very simple thing, LeBrad. Oh, Joe posted the @JoeRoganHQ. That's the Twitter thing. If you want to tell Joe Rogan that he should have me on as a guest, I won't hold my breath, but you know, maybe enough people saying something could make it happen. Okay, Allie McBeal was saying I'll get a second opinion, but I would love some advice. Childhood dentistry, pediatric dentistry. My father was a dentist. My father had patients stay with him until they died. He didn't take any new patients for the last 5 years of his practice. People liked him. He was very willing to say, we'll just watch and wait on this. He didn't try to gouge people or tell them that they had to do it right now. And he was one of the most moderately priced dentists in town. So you can imagine a moderately priced, extremely ethical dentist who was willing to tell you that this doesn't have to be dealt with right now. You can wait on this and we'll just see how it goes. People didn't leave him. He said he watched elderly people who would just start eating a bunch of ice cream in their homes because they were bored and they were hungry and they didn't know what else to do. And that was the only pleasure they got. He just watched their teeth fall out because, they were going to eat ice cream. You couldn't stop them from eating ice cream. They just kept coming in to get their stuff fixed. Anyway, I like to believe that I follow in his footsteps of being moderately priced in this world of crazy things and giving good service that keeps people around for a long time. Anyway, whether people agree with that or not, that's up to them. So childhood dentistry. This is what my father told me. So if anybody wants to get mad, they can get mad at him. And I don't know how they're going to put any suggestions in the customer service box about it. My dad said to me, he said, most pediatric dentists are scumbags. And they rip parents off because the teeth are going to come out anyway. And so they do way too much. I'm not saying you're doing too much. Most pediatric dentists are doing too much. I had to go to my pediatric dentist for my kids and say, you're doing the absolute, okay. I have to see the dentist because of the ex-wife. They want to do x-rays. They have to do them supposedly. I mean, you guys who have gone to dentists and you're like, I don't want to get x-rays. The dentist will often be like, I can't see you then. Or you have to do x-rays every so often. Maybe that's, I think every 2 years they say they have to do them for standard of care. You can say no and they can say no to you. So you can play the game. You can't make the dentist see you if you say, I won't get x-rays. You get to pick and choose. You play the game or you don't play the game. It is always, first I would look into potentially that, for those of you with kids, I think that Revive mouth guard sounds a lot better. I wish I would have done that as a kid instead of orthodontics. I think there's really something to that. The feedback, the testimonials on that website seem to be fairly amazing. So I'm pretty excited to get mine. So anyway, generally I don't give specific dental advice. I am not a dentist. However, I will tell you my priority order of things that I would do If it were my teeth or my kids' teeth, my kids don't, I'm not bragging here. I'm saying diet wise, my kids don't have any dental problems. So there's those out there who say that the diets we do are just they're so not right. Well, okay. Well, then why aren't my kids' teeth falling out? Because we're not doing Weston Price, that's for sure. So I always prioritize, it's better to take something out than to put something in. Hey, this fits along with our whole principles and framework, right? So if you can, and I'm not saying that I'm suggesting doing this, I would first of all, okay, dentistry, whatever in medicine, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Take the time to get a second opinion or even a third opinion. They can be drastically different. And you'll get a different feel for whether each dentist is in your kid's best interest or if they're in their next sports car payment's best interest. Okay? I mean, Kelsey's mom was a dentist too. Kelsey didn't go into dental school because she looked at what she was going to have to pay back after that. Because then, dentists are getting into buying, they're working for other people. Like people know now there's so many dentists coming out of dental school that they can just open up like a dental shop and employ dentists because the dentists need to work to pay off their loans. I just saw a place right here called like Dentists on Sunrise. So they don't even use the name of the dentist anymore because they're just hiring dentists because they can get them easily enough because there's too many of them and they have big loans. So, and they know they can just replace them. And you better sell enough dentistry this week or you're going to get canned. Like it's just medicine is sucks these days because the doctors and the dentists are real people. They got real bills to pay and they got big bills from their schooling. And yeah, they may get paid more, but there's always somebody out there who's willing to lowball them and give them just enough. So taking something out. So we always prioritize reducing intox or eliminating intox before taking stuff, right? So put less poison in before you put more supplements in. Well, with the mouth, if I don't have, I'd like people talk about implants. Like I don't put anything in my mouth that doesn't have to be there. Don't put in my opinion, priority wise, don't put fillings in. Don't put implants in. Don't put metal in my mouth. Don't put synthetic compounds in my mouth. Don't put things in my mouth if you don't have to. So if I have a tooth that's bad, if I can figure out how to take out the tooth, because nature, our bodies are designed, like think about living in nature. People would lose teeth from trauma or whatever. You fall on a rock and you bang your mouth and there's no dentist. Teeth come out and they would yank teeth. So whenever something can be taken out rather than put in, that would be my priority. I think I told this story last week or the week before. This was years ago. I chipped a molar because I think I was clenching too hard and my jaw wasn't quite aligned right. And I broke off a tip of a molar and it was sharp right there, but I didn't lose the tooth. I just broke off a tip of a molar. And yes, this is minor, but I'm giving you an example. I go into the dentist, the guy who bought my dad's practice, who I don't see anymore. But he said I can put some filling stuff on it, or I said, I don't really want to put anything in. Is there something else we can do? And he said, I can just grind it down. I think I might've suggested, I was like, can you just grind it to make it smooth? So my tongue doesn't aggravate it all the time, or my tongue's not aggravated by it all the time. And he said, sure. And he just ground it. And that was it. So he took something out rather than putting something in. And that was simple. So this is just me spitballing. Like I said, I'm not a dental expert. But if I had a child who needed to get 4 front teeth pulled and they could do something like a partial denture, they might have to do multiple of them because the child's jaw is, their head's going to grow, their jaw is going to grow. You might do a partial denture that they can put in during the day, and they can resize as they get bigger, and then it's gone. Once the adult teeth come in, you would need something to hold the teeth from caving in, right? Because if you just have a giant gap, the teeth on the outside will tend to start collapsing in. So you need a placeholder there. So that's just an idea, but that you might need to see multiple dentists to get that done, or bring it up to them like I did about shaving the tooth instead of putting filling on it. So, yeah, but it's just always remember, taking stuff out is nature is taking stuff out. Humanity's toxicity problems is putting stuff in. So you start putting metals in there, you start putting all sorts of synthetic compounds in there. Your body is absorbing those things. The child's body is absorbing those things. So I would think priority is taking stuff out and then putting stuff in that would be, let's say, if those teeth are going to grow back in, then when that's done, you don't need it anymore. So, I hope that helps. Okay, we're at 12 o'clock. I'm going to do one more question, then we're going to wrap it up. Oh, Cassidy says we need the vitamin K back in stock, Doc. I have good news. Don't email Julie. Don't email Julie. The order of the vitamin K should be shipping to us any day now. Today or tomorrow. Now, does that mean when we're going to I'm not going to give you a day when we have it. Oops, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. So, I don't know when we're going to have it, but it's coming. The vitamin K is coming back. Yes, it will be back soon. Okay. Glad you like it. And boy, that was a pain to get it back. For some reason, we had a lot of trouble getting the K1 part of it. And I was part of the delay, just so you guys know. Part of the delay was my fault in getting it back in, because I was looking for the absolute best sources of K1 that I could get. And Kate, I think I looked for K2, the MK4. I think I was looking for a better source of that too. So I was looking for better sources. I couldn't find them, but there was a delay, because can you believe this? Those of you who are in any industry these days, right? Like, you email, I'm sitting there, we're emailing companies saying, do you have this? Can you find this? Do you know of people who have this? And then the people I work with, they're emailing companies and they're saying, we're not getting replies. Like, literally, people sell things and people email them and they're trying to get their product and then they don't reply to emails. I can't believe, I mean, it makes so much sense why so many companies are going under. They can't even sell their product to the people who are coming to them trying to get it. Unreal. Like they got one job, sell product. Somebody emails them, I would like to buy your product. Do you have this product? Can you tell me information about it? And they're like, we're just going to ignore your email. Unreal. Oh, so I'm guessing Oliver Montana, let me just read this little testimonial here. Oliver Montana D2C says, I powder all my food like it's a donut, and it's almost single-handedly pulled me out of my debilitating neuropathy. I'm guessing you mean MSG, because that's what, when you sprinkle it and it looks like a donut, that's basically MSG, because that would be way too much salt. So, yeah, I'm guessing that's MSG. So folks, you have been lied to about MSG. MSG actually helps solubilize and get toxic metals out of you, including copper. Glutamate is absolutely necessary for you to detox stuff. Glutamate is the most abundant neurotransmitter in the human body, but yet nobody talks about it, right? Because then if people started talking about glutamate instead of dopamine and serotonin, and then you started having people like ours saying glutamate's helping me amazingly, pulling this gentleman Oliver out of neuropathy. And then they start going, wait, why were you telling us that glutamate was so bad when it's in all these foods and it's the most abundant neurotransmitter in the human body and the liver enzymes literally make glutamate? So if you're out there going, my liver enzymes are high, your liver is desperately trying to make more glutamate for you. Do you think it's trying to poison you? It's not. It's trying to help you. It's saying we need a lot more glutamate than is being made or than is being ingested. So think about it. If your liver is working so hard, I used to actually say, I still use this expression, the liver enzymes are an indication of how hard your liver is working. Okay. So if your liver's healing, if your liver's suffering, let's say you got somebody on the sauce all the time and their liver enzymes go up. Their liver's working hard to detox them because they're taking in poisons all the time. But we've also seen it where people are getting better and they're avoiding toxins, and sometimes their liver enzymes go up temporarily. Well, your liver enzymes can go up temporarily to fix things. Your liver's working hard. It's fixing things. If you want to clean up your house, do spring cleaning, you're going to be working hard for a bit of time. Is your house going to be better in the end? Yes. It took work, right? If you want to fix your liver's going to have to clean itself out. It could use some more glutamate. So it makes some. So your liver enzymes go up for a little bit. This is not an excuse to have high liver enzymes. If you have high liver enzymes, what it means is your liver is working hard. The higher they go, the harder your liver is working, and it's probably doing that because there's a problem. If we start having people like doing the Love Your Liver program and their symptoms are all improving across the board and they see their liver enzymes go up a bit for a short period of time, this happens. We see it. We say, don't freak out. Look at all your other symptoms getting better. And then over time, they come down again. We had the same thing happen to our primary biliary cirrhosis person when they came off UDCA and their liver enzymes spiked. And I said, you're just going to have to ride it out. It's going to, in theory, this was the first person I did this with. I said, in theory, what we're doing is going to help things get better and they will come down. She had faith. I had faith. It all happened exactly the way I said it. Now she doesn't have cirrhosis anymore. So if you only believe ChatGPT's medical answers and you only believe the normal doctor's answers, well, you're not going to get very far, because as soon as your liver enzymes go up, even if it's in a good way, they'll say, stop what you're doing. Wow, that focus is really going wacky on my camera right now. They'll say, stop what you're doing. Your liver enzymes went up. And if they don't understand why or what the liver enzymes actually literally do, they'll have you abandon something that might be working. But what could you do to spare your liver enzymes having to go up? You could eat some MSG and give it glutamate. Literally give your system glutamate to use. And then your liver might say, well, we don't have to work so hard. We could do other things instead of trying to desperately make glutamate. Okay. Oh, Jana was saying this week in the Midwest, almost everyone I know is sick. All of us are dumping hard at my house as of the last 3 weeks. Okay. There has been, if you guys pay attention to space weather, there have been multiple X-flare days. We are seeing lots of people get sick. Yes. Yep. I mean, whether they're in the Love Your Liver program or not. If you're early on in the Love Your Liver program, you might be getting sick. If you're in the Love Your Liver program or not, you're probably noticing everybody around you who's not doing it is getting sick. Is it a virus? No, it's not a virus. People detox. Wait, is the winter coming on or the colder days coming on? Yes. When the colder days come on, your body knows that detox likes warmer temperatures. This is the way it is, folks. So if you choose to live in a cold area, by being in a cold area, your detox is going to be slower. This is the way chemical reactions go. Chemical reactions go faster in warmer temperatures and they go slower in colder temperatures. That's chemistry. Some people are like, chemistry doesn't exist. And you're like, okay, cool. Cool story, bro. So anyway, the body knows that when the cold weather is coming, this is the theory. When the cold weather is coming, detox is slowing down. It's going away. So what does the body often try to do before the cold weather really hits? It tries to do one last big detox dump. It's saying, we're not going to get to do this for a while. We better do it now. That's why when people get a chill, all of a sudden their body doesn't know what's going on with the weather. Their body just goes, you got cold all of a sudden. Oh crap, cold weather's here. Let's dump. This is the whole explanation for why when people get cold or they go out in the rain and they get a cold breeze on their neck and they get sick, it's all the same stuff. The cold weather combined with the space weather that's been going on lately, that full moon recently was nasty. There's been some Schumann resonance days, and there's been multiple X-flare days. Actually, I think this morning was an X-flare, or last night was an X-flare too. So yeah, when all these things come together at once, oh my gosh, people get sick. So you have the local weather, you have the moon, and then you have the space weather. And these are all things that we can look at on the apps or the charts or wherever you want to look at them. And they're there. So, the nice thing is that I tell people is like, you can look at this stuff and go, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not getting sicker. It's just all this stuff happened at once. I've been with the space weather recently and the Schumann stuff. I've been very restless in bed the second half of the night. I'm just going, why am I just rolling around more and not sleeping as well as I think? But then I look at my sleep scores now and I go, they're steadily improving with one of the new things I'm using, so it's going in the right direction. Anyway, okay. Oh, Joe was just posting it was an X5. That's a big solar flare. Actually, the funny thing was, so the X5 was, I think, early in the morning, like maybe 5 a.m. last night. I want to say 5 a.m. for me. Well, Joe said it's expected to hit Earth on November 12th, but these things can happen. I don't know how. Can people feel them earlier? Yes, absolutely. How far away are these things? I don't believe that they're that far away. There's no way we should be able to see the detail on the moon if it's so many. When you can't see the detail on the mountains that are just, certain distance away. Oh yeah, we see detail on the moon. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, Cat B4918. It's meant not debutante. She said dilettante. Yes, you're absolutely right. I used the wrong word. It's not debutante. It was dilettante. Yes, correct. Thank you for fixing me on that one. Okay. Oh, Ben was saying makes sense. I was thinking of trying to get my hands on some mono potassium glutamate. Well, you don't have to put the mono in front of it. You can just call it potassium glutamate. I don't know that I don't know that you'll find it. We may do some interesting things in the future. We are working on, folks. We are working on so don't email Julie. It's not out yet. And when we start a new project, I have no idea when it will come out. So here's a tip. Don't email Julie asking when it's going to come out. Don't ask me on the chat when it's going to come out. But we have put in orders now for the 100 milligram. Well, so the name, we're using the name that Kelsey gave her products because she's so awesome, but she called it Nia Soda. Okay, so just so you know, bicarbonate, like sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, and potassium bicarbonate, right? It's referred to as soda. Okay. So we're going to call it what Kelsey called it before, Nia Soda, when she used to sell her powders. But it is going to be the other tagline on it's going to be electrolyte buffered flush niacin. So it's going to be in the capsules. There will be nicotinic acid, flush niacin, and there will be sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, and there will be potassium bicarbonate, baking soda. I mean, potassium bicarbonate, right? Which is like a potassium baking soda, basically. So those are going to react in the stomach to form potassium nicotinate and sodium nicotinate. They are pre-buffered. It will be just enough of the bicarbonates to react with the nicotinic acid. And then you won't have to worry if you're using our pills. You won't have to worry about buffering the flush niacin if you're using those buffered capsules. So we're going to make that easier for you. I will eventually be coming out with a powder, a buffered niacin powder, and that will be called Niasoda. And then we will eventually, I think, buffer the 25 milligram pills too, just so if people are taking a lot of them or if they just feel better with it, then that'll be there too. There's not going to be if you didn't know, like I said earlier, there's not very much sodium in sodium bicarbonate, and there's not very much potassium in potassium bicarbonate. So there won't be very much of those minerals that you really have to worry about adding to it at those doses. So, okay. Okay, this will be the last thing. I'm just going to make one more comment on the dental stuff. Allie McBeal 99 says, yes, the fluoride treatment is an option. Not great either. I'd like Dr. Smith's opinion on what fluoride is doing. The general anesthesia would be for reconstruction treatment, removing decay. And okay, so, and stainless steel caps with white polymer caps over the stainless steel for the front teeth. Oof. I don't know. You were saying you chose to do silver diamine fluoride to stop the decay before they would have to remove them. I had them drink charcoal before and after. I think that approach, considering, you're doing the best you can. There's fluoride. My dad, as a dentist, was not against fluoride, but he didn't like it. He was the one who told me. I remember when I was first starting to get into health and I was talking to my dad and I'm like, and they put fluoride in the water and we don't want it. And so I'm like a teenager, right? I'm like probably 19 years old. And my dad's like, Tucson doesn't fluoridate their water. And I was like, really? He said, no, we never have. I was like, oh, cool. One thing I don't have to worry about. But I don't think my dad was ever a fan of people drinking fluoride in the water. But he didn't mind fluoride treatments of the teeth. And of course, I was one of those gate kids who was given the pink fluoride swish every, once a week or whatever. And you'd always spit it out. I don't know if some of the kids swallowed it, but you always spit that out. But what fluoride does is fluoride does help, in theory, with helping with the framework of the calcium in the teeth. Whether that's good for you or not is a whole nother matter. Can fluoride help with the mineralization of the teeth to a point? Sure. Is it also toxic? Sure. So if you're going to do something toxic, you want to do it as few times as possible and then not put more into the system. So if that was I don't know anything about that application, but if that's going to minimize the invasiveness that they need to do, I just, you're asking me these things on a live and I don't have time to research them. And it's not, I don't know. It's just, I'll do the best I can. But like I said, I'd rather remove things rather than put things in there to be soaked up and absorbed. That's just the priority. So, I think we're going to wrap up. So Joe, let me just talk about the sale real quick before we do all the links. Sorry, I may have moved away from the mic too far. The sale, the information on our pre-holiday sale is down in the info box below. Basically, the code, Joe put the code on the screen, ND Special 15. I would suggest you do the capitalization correctly on that just to make sure that it goes through. It is 15% off on Nutrition Detective brand supplements only, whether you're on the normal shop or whether you're in the VIP store. If you're a Love Your Liver member, make sure you go into the VIP store because you already get your LYL discount, and then you get the 15% off on top of that. There's some other things about like we don't combine discounts. There's no refunds on previous purchases. There's, stuff like that. There's no exceptions. We're not letting people like do the sale stuff after the sale ends. It is from the 12th, midnight on the 12th to midnight on the 18th. Those are the dates. So anything else you want to read about it, it's down there. Please read the info on the sale before you bother Julie with the questions that are answered in the info below. And we'll be sending it out in the newsletters too, with all that info too. So that's what we got on that. So now let's hit on all those links, Joe. First, our past live streams. So this is number 224. So if you want to watch the past live streams, there's two places that you can go on YouTube. One is you can go to the live tab, which is that first link that Joe put there. Two, you can go to the videos tab. So any episodes that you don't find in the live tab, they'll be in the videos tab. Like this one today is going to be in the videos tab because I have to go edit out that AG word, if you know what I mean. So then we have the Rumble channel. The Rumble channel always has all of the episodes unedited. So that's, you can go there to user/nutrition detective. Then we have on Twitter. I have been less active on Twitter lately because, as I mentioned earlier, Twitter is becoming a rage bait loosh hole, and I don't like the way it's being run. So I've been spending less time there. But that's, if you want to go see my pinned thread of threads on my profile, that's a good place to go if you want to see the research that I put into this. Facebook, this is our newer Facebook page, the.real nutrition detective. We're going to be connecting that to the live stream soon. So go like that if you're into Facebook. The main website, nutritiondetective.com. This is where you can find all of our links, and soon it will be completely updated and revamped and all that fun stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that. The Love Your Liver program, the DIY program that I made that I'm working on expanding as we speak, that is at members.nutritiondetective.com. You can also find it at the membership link on the main website. So there's that. What's next? We got episodes 53 and 71. That is the basics of toxic bile paradigm. Actually, I need to, so that's where, if you want to know when we talk about toxic bile theory or toxic bile paradigm or just bile in general, if you want to get the background, that's where you can go for that. Beth suggested that I remake it, and she wanted to help me with that. So I think we're going to do that fairly soon. I just got to remember I have all these great ideas, and Beth came up with the idea of redoing it, and I got to get on that. Anyway, so when you see me do studies on live streams, the highlight comes from GLASP. If you want to look up the GLASP highlights or search and see if I've talked about a certain topic, go to that glasp.co link down there. Yes, you got to pause it and type out all that stuff. And that will take you to all the studies I have highlighted in the history of all the live streams. So you can do certain searches and you can see what studies I've picked that are reflective of that. Then there's Instagram. This is our newer Instagram channel, the.real nutrition detective. So we got that. Then there's, consultations. If you want to work with any of our health facilitators on your hair test and your blood tests, then that can be done at the consultation tab on the website, or the full website is there. So that's where you can find those. We do the hair test and the blood test as part of it. And then you get 6 months access to the office hours after that. This is episode number 224, where we did more Q&A in the live chat. Hope you guys got something out of it. And then we had those cool testimonials. And then we got to announce our pre-holiday sale. So we hope you appreciate that. Get whatever you need. Get your friends whatever they need. And yeah, Julie's going to be busy shipping out all those orders. No, the vitamin K is not in yet. Hopefully it will be in sometime before the end of the sale. Anyway, I'm Dr. Garrett Smith, also known as the Nutrition Detective around these here YouTube parts. And we will see you next time. I'm off to do the inner circle inside the network. Have a great week. Thanks, Joe. Bye now.